Hi, my name is Gilma Dorville.
I'm Ebony Weaver.
I'm Ashley Moultrie.
I'm Delanique Robinson.
I'm Janelle M. Forbes, and you're watching The Ugly Truth Show on
Dominion TV.
Hey, we are back with The Ugly Truth, and I am joined by my amazing co-host today, and we are talking about when is it okay to walk away. So for me, I was reminded today, I know, look at your face, you're like, well, where we going? Sometimes we gotta run, right? But I was reminded today about environment and how important your environment is. What you surround yourself with, the people you surround yourself with, the places that you put yourself in, and the things that you associate with will literally either hold you back or completely change the trajectory of your life.
That's good.
So for me, while walking away sometimes can be so difficult, like we look as if I remember being like, oh, we've been friends 20 years, right. But not understanding that time in is not always time well spent.
Yeah.
And if you have to step back from somebody in order to really be able to propel into your purpose, sometimes you gotta be able to let go.
Yeah.
So
mine is when is it okay, not only in relationships, but when is it okay to walk away from jobs, people, places, and things? When is it actually okay? And for each time that I walked away, it was always abruptly, and it was always an urgency. So my answer would be, it's okay to walk away when your life is at risk. And it's not always physically your life is at risk. That's what I have personally learned. Physically, my life is not always at risk. But there's something, it's always this nudge, this feeling, this sense of something that you're feeling on the inside of you that's telling you no. And I believe you need to listen to that. Absolutely. Because the outcome at the end of your disobedience, if you don't walk away, each time God told me to move, yes, it was abruptly. Yes, it seemed like I was unstable. Yes, it seemed like I was just crazy and out of my mind, but each time God told me to walk away from ministries, from jobs, from people, places, and things, I did it. And that was the best decision of my life. Each time, it didn't feel good, but I walked away, and my mind, I ended up finding out later on why I felt that urgency, or why I felt like it was time to transition.
When you say abruptly, I've been doing good so far and I haven't been emotional, but I'm emotional right now.
Okay.
And because I had an abruptly moment, and we were just talking about it, I moved about 5 years ago to Dallas. And I moved from Arkansas to Dallas, and my grandmother has 17 children. My family is so close, and it was so hard. But like you said, your life is not always in danger physically. One of my aunts had a dream that I was eating glass. What? And she called me and she said, Nikki, Ebony, she was like, what are you doing? I had a dream that you were eating glass. And at the time I was praise and worship leader, and people didn't know that while I was leading praise and worship, I was drowning.
Wow.
I was dealing with inside things that I did not want to share with anyone. And so she told me, pack your things up. I packed my 2-bedroom apartment up in one day, moved to Dallas with no car, no job, no anything. But God allowed me to flourish in Dallas, Texas, where I got a new apartment, I got a new job, I got a new car. Now I work in tech. And guess what God did? He sent me back to Arkansas with more than what I went to Texas with. I went back with a husband. I went back to get
And
married.
it was abrupt.
Yes,
It was abrupt.
that was abrupt as
Yeah.
well. I went back with a husband, with a new car, with a new job. My job traveled with me and received a promotion to manager in that transition. So that's why I got emotional when you said abrupt. And so I needed to let what I was going through in Arkansas 5 years ago, let that go.
Yes.
Whether
Let it
it's
go.
family, because I was the type of person that family would always call on.
Yes.
I got degrees for family but didn't get a degree for myself. So God was giving me permission to say, okay, you can be selfish, you can do this for yourself.
Yes.
And abruptly he did that for me.
Abruptly.
Yes. So good. I love that. I know, I love when you were talking about when God says move. For me, it was 2017, and I think I've told you this before. God literally, I heard him say move. And I was terrified, thinking I had built everything.
Right.
You mean
all the work.
where I'm going? You mean leave everything? How I'm gonna do that? And it was literally, I remember one day praying and like literally in meditation, and I heard him say, "Move, or I'm gonna let the bottom fall out." And I was terrified. I didn't know if it was like, if I move, where am I going?
Right.
Literally, everything started to fall apart within 2 weeks. And I remember keep going, God, you got to show me where to go. You got to like shake the house, open up the heavens so that I know this is you and I'm not playing tricks on myself. And it was like, the more I questioned him, the more it was like I lost my job, I lost my relationship, I lost my car, I lost my house, and then I went to jail. All within like weeks of each other. And it was like, well, no, okay. Now I'm silent, right? What you want me to do?
Right.
So in the midst, you can't be afraid to walk away when he says walk away, because sometimes the things that we're holding on to are hindering us and they're just not good for us. And not understanding, and we talked about this before, the fear of what's on the other side.
Yes.
And if I just step in and tap into, let me remove fear and say, you said do this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to jump. And I'm going to run
Right.
towards whatever it is you want and trust that he got you on the other side.
That's
Right.
right.
Yes.
Right.
You know, I'm a lot like you. When I'm supposed to, when something's gonna happen, everything's gonna go wrong, but I'm stubborn, and no matter what goes wrong, I'm gonna keep fighting, because my mindset is that, okay, it's not going wrong because I'm supposed to move, or I'm supposed to do something else. It's going wrong because I'm not doing something right. So let me try to fix it. And I think that's the problem with me. And I'm working on that. Believe me, I'm working on that. But even with traveling to come out here, and I was telling you guys, it was so many obstacles, and I started questioning myself, like, is this for me? Am I supposed to be here? If I'm supposed to do this, why is all of this happening? And even after I bought my ticket, I did everything, stuff still kept happening. And I had to sit and have a conversation, and okay, am I, is this for me? What's the purpose of this? This is, not even me. This is out of my comfort zone. So what's the purpose for this? If this is for me, let me know this is for me. Okay, let me know this, you're making the right decision, because this is what I have planned for you.
Yes.
So I took the chance. I did, I came out, and as you guys know, I had another obstacle thrown my way.
Yes.
And I was on the verge of getting on the next flight and going home, because I felt that my family needed me.
Yes.
And I was telling Ashley earlier, she said something and it tore me up. And she was talking, basically, all of you guys were talking about, being, just being where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And it's like, maybe I'm supposed to be here,
Yes.
and maybe the obstacles and everything that's being thrown my way, it's not that this is not for you, but it's the devil's work. This is, it's just minor situations that can be, just that. And then I spoke with my family, and, and they told me, they were like, why are you leaving?
Wow.
You need to stay. This is what you need to be doing. You're
Good.
here for a reason.
Yes.
You know?
Those are distractions. And someone said, right before God takes you to a level, the distractions will come.
Yes.
And it'll try to get you off track. But the drive is to stay on track, like you were saying. Those things come against you for a reason. And if they're coming against you like that, imagine how it is when you finally push through. Gonna be powerful.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, when you were talking about the process of letting go, in order for me to obtain or attain something, I have to first let go of what was, right? Whatever is in my life right now, past, present, and future, I see forward looking what God has for me. I see backward looking what isn't for me, but I'm standing in the present between two options, and I'm saying, who am I going to be? And I think that's the place and space that we often find ourselves in. And I could think about so many different times and kind of similar about moving, and that's been a reoccurring thing. We've all talked about God moving us, not just from a mere spiritual aspect, but from a physical aspect, like to another city or to another place. And you know, I look back and I think, man, I went through so many different transitions and seasons. And, you know, there were the words being said about there's instability there. There's, do you really know what you're doing? Right? They'll sprinkle a little bit of doubt and call it gospel. And say, well, I don't know if you understand what you're doing in your life. But one thing I finally understood now in this season of my life, so recently, is that whatever God decrees and whatever he says, I'm going to stand on and watch him fight my battles for me. Because at the end of the day, if I created my own life, then I'm going to have to be the one to sustain my own life. But it was never me from the beginning. It was God who's the beginning and the end, the Alpha, the Omega. And so whatever he decrees and whatever he creates, then he's going to sustain it to the end of creation. And so I think for me, and there may be people watching, it's like, how do we get from a place of, yes, we call it fear, but how do we get to a place of making a concrete decision in our knower when everything else around us doesn't give us the adequate understanding to make an adequate decision? But the fact of like God telling me, do this, is enough evidence in itself for me to move. Like how can people navigate and reason with that battle in their mind?
It's not, so I could only speak from me. And one thing that I've realized, at the end of your rope, I want God to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. So it's not about my husband. It's not about my sons. It's not about my mama, my daddy, and whoever else. It's about those attached to me that God has assigned to be attached to me, who I am supposed to reach. Well, apparently it's my husband and my boys too. Wait a
minute, let me back up.
Let me focus real quick.
That's right.
But it's the prize, it's destiny, it's purpose, it's walking in purpose and being focused on not my will, but your will be done through me on this earth. So I'm not looking to the left nor the right. You could, man, you are a con artist. Like, what you gonna say at me next? Okay? Now I already know that's what you do. You gonna use my husband to get injured? Okay. I got you, boo. What you gonna use? Like, you know, like I'm ready.
Come on.
I put my war clothes on. Each of us has weapons.
That's good.
We gotta figure out what our weapons are.
What is your
Y'all
weapon?
hear me talk about I'm a ninja? I'm a ninja. Like I'm look. And then in seasons and times, I am a boxer. I'm a punch you down, man. And then I'm not a kung fu fighter, a street fighter.
I know that's right.
Like
you ain't got nothing on the street fighter.
And
baby.
then in times, I got a sword.
Right.
You gotta understand what your weapon is.
That's
if you don't know,
good.
you need to ask God.
Right.
And as long as I know what my weapon is, when those things come, baby,
You gonna whip it out.
I'm gonna whip it out. You know, because I'm so focused.
That's good.
And although things come to throw us off our tracks, God, you created me. And the same way you created me, you are the author and finisher of my faith.
Yep.
Yes.
Your word shall not return to you void.
Right.
So take care of my family.
Yes.
Take care of my husband.
That's good.
Take care of my mother.
Yes.
Take care of my father. And as I am obedient to you,
Yes.
you take care of me.
Yes.
Woo!
You have to be that way because it says new levels, new devils.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right.
And then the devil is not sitting there pity-patting with you.
Oh, that's good.
He's not sitting there being all, sugarcoating it and babyfying it. So you have to get down with him.
Yeah.
You have to tell him, okay, I've been waiting on you. I was expecting you.
Right.
Like, I'm here. You want to go there? Let's go.
Let's
I
go.
love
You
it,
have to be
yeah.
that way. And you have, like we talking about letting go, you have to know when to activate that, and you have to know when to kind of stand still.
Yeah.
But you have to be in tune with it as well, and you can't be afraid of it.
Yeah. He created us to be warriors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
and you gotta
good.
be ready to go to war at any moment, whatever that looks like. And you can't be afraid. Sometimes it may not be you walking away.
Right.
It may be them walking away, and you gotta be okay with that.
Yeah.
If you
That's
even
great.
look at scripture, people walked away from Jesus.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he wasn't chasing them. You know what I mean? When he
That
went to
part.
the rich man and said, "Let your riches go and
Yeah.
follow me," and he said, "Mm-mm." He said, "Well," and he used it to say, "I'm gonna teach my disciples. This is why it's gonna be difficult.
Right.
But I'm not chasing you.
I'm gonna do that in the next
Downhill. Where? You ain't run? I can't do that, baby. I wasn't built for that no more."
Right.
That's right. I love God because, like you were speaking about people in the Bible, Jonah ran. But then God did something where he had to go back. The prodigal son.
Yeah.
He went out the way, but he came back. I love the growing up that I have. My grandmother and grandfather were pastor and wife, because I've had a chance to go out there thinking there was something out there that was better than what I
Yes.
was taught.
Wow.
But I always went back to what I knew. When I would
Yeah.
pray, when I first started to learn how to pray, because my aunts are evangelists and pastors, and they said, "Niece, where God is taking you, you're going to need a prayer life." And so I would pray and I would say, "God, your will is my will." Not knowing that his will is not always what you want.
That's it.
And you may not like it. But I would pray and say, "Your will is my will." And so he molded me and made me because I was willing to accept his will.
That's good. So I've lost about 4 babies. Okay? And I wanted 8 kids. And it took, you said something so good just now. His will is not my will, and where you want to possibly go is not where he want to take you. It's even in things as well. I wanted 8 kids because I'm a family woman, and I love my boys. God trusts me with 2 boys. I wanted 8. I lost 4. And it took a woman of God to get me on the phone, and she said, "Woman of God, you want 8 kids. You've lost, at the time it was 2. God may not have designed you
Yes.
to carry 8. Whatever amount, even if it's 1, you should be okay.
Yes.
Whatever amount of kids that he allow you to birth, that's your assignment.
Yeah.
That's part of your purpose." And I'm like, okay. And by then I had 2. And what it took for me to get the 2, the oldest one, I didn't know I was pregnant with him. I was 7 months. My body was normal.
Wow.
Had him on the 8th month. He was a twin. The twin died.
Wow.
In between time, I was trying to have more babies. They died. That same one, the first one that I didn't know of, when I stopped trying, because that's what I wanted. So when I stopped trying, it was at that moment God said, okay, now you're trusting me.
Yeah.
My son, Shamar, he ran off the elevator. I could remember we were in West Palm Beach somewhere. He ran off the elevator and he ran straight to me down the hall. It's almost like timing. It's almost like God said, Janelle, walk out. I didn't know they was coming.
Yeah.
You know, because back then they didn't have cell phones. We had different type of phones, you know. But he ran to me and he touched my stomach and he said, Mommy, you're pregnant with my baby brother. What you know that at 5?
Right.
Come on.
And I was like, huh? I was like, boy, get away from me. I ain't no pregnant. What you talking about?
Right.
So not knowing all that time, I was pregnant. 2 months pregnant. And I was pregnant with his baby brother. And every week I was having contractions because Fipe was just ready to come out. And I was on the bed for about 8-9 months with Philip. He was not preterm, but he came on time. And that hit me. And I thank God that I did not keep pushing for more kids.
Yeah.
Because I was not assigned to no more than just the 2 boys.
That's great.
You know, so oftentimes it is as simple as that. We might think practically it might be for your relationships, walking away. But when was it okay for me to say, breathe, Janelle, it's okay to walk away from what you thought you want and accept God's will, which is just 2 boys that he has assigned to you for whatever reason. So I always say, Lord, I thank you for trusting me to be these 2 young men's mother.
Yes.
But he has birthed so much more out of you.
Yeah.
Like 8 is small in comparison to the number of things you done birthed.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that he's given you so many other people to be responsible
That
for.
is so true.
So a lot of
so
times
good.
we think that I want to have 8 children, I need to be pregnant 8 times.
Yeah.
But start counting
Yes.
your blessings.
That's what I was
Start
gonna say.
counting the
They're
different
not
things that
physically
you
your
birth.
children. They're your
Absolutely.
spiritual children.
Wow. And I never looked at it that way. And I think I wanted those 8 kids because I'm my dad's only daughter. And my mom, my biological mother, she has 8 of us. And I'm not raised with any one of them. So it had me feeling some type of way that I wanted a bigger family so I can create and leave a legacy and build an empire,
Right.
you know, my own family. But because I was lonely growing up. I was lonely, and I would always say to myself, maybe if I had more siblings,
Yeah, right.
those guys wouldn't think that it was okay
Right.
to take advantage of you, advantage of me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted it, but God didn't design me to have it.
That's right.
And it was okay for me to walk away from that because I understood the greater picture. And you guys are right, because I never wanted girls, and that's why you got to be careful what you say.
That's right.
But I said it when I was 8 when it first started happening to me. And I said, I don't want any girls because I don't want them to go through what I'm going through. We got to be careful what we say. So I always say those babies that I had lost, I feel like they were girls.
Yeah.
I really feel that they were girls. But I'm noticing God has me attached to so many
Yes.
women.
Yes.
And to think I had a problem because of abandonment, of
Right.
not having my biological mother in my life, I had a problem with women. But you're going to keep sending women to me.
Yeah.
So I had to go through deliverance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go through deliverance
Yeah.
to really understand that it was bigger than me.
Yeah.
It was bigger than me. It was important for me to be delivered. So every one of you who are attached to me, and even those that are watching, who are coming, who are attached to me, who've even been on the show, who've been the events, the retreats, everything, who's attached to me, that I am so intentional with what God shows me in each and every one of the women,
Yes.
even the ones that hasn't met me yet, as to what he shows me concerning them. So it was easy for me to walk away, to even with things now. It wasn't easy with that first trial, but it became easy as I understood who God has called me to be, because I know who I am and I know whose I am.
Yes.
That's so good.
It is. And it's like you said, it's sometimes it's people, sometimes it's places, the environments that you've been putting yourself in, places that you go that just aren't good for you. They don't feed your spirit. And sometimes we really do have to let all of those things go. Things that, you know, are tangible that we love and that we hold on to. Sometimes you have to let it go so that you can grow. He can't take you to where he wants you to, you know, where he wants you to be if you're still holding on to the past. So
Sometimes it's letting yourself go as well. I've always been the type of person to say, anybody can tell me no, but I'm not going to tell myself no. And so I had to choose in certain things. If I wanted to be married, I always wanted to be married, but sometimes I would please my flesh more than I would please my spirit. And so I had to know when to let myself go, to say it's not always about pleasing you. It's about where do God want you and what do you want. So sometimes you have to be hard on yourself as well.
Yeah, and with my going back to my situation, what I learned today is that you have to let go and let God. Because if my thing is, if you know, I felt that I needed to be there, but that's not what the plan God has for me. And I need to accept that. And listen, if you know me, you know I got to be in control of my situation. But not being there and not being in control, can be realized that I don't have to be in control of everything. I don't have to fix everything. Sometimes God is going to fix it for me. And I'm understanding that.
Letting go is so difficult, and sometimes you really have to learn to step back and trust God and know that He got you. And if you let go of the things that you felt like you needed to hold on to for whatever the reason is, know that sometimes when you let go, He got something so much better for you. So while we close out our first season, we are so excited. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. Come back next season for more laughs, more fun, and more blessings. We love you guys so much. Be blessed. We'll see you next season.
Hello everyone, my name is Janelle M. Forbes. Thank you for watching the Ugly Truth Show on Dominion TV. Don't forget, download the app, dominion.tv.